Well, that was really something, wasn't it? So, I'm not going to keep you here for long because I know you're tired and you're all thirsty, especially Jostein's hair, so maybe someone can get it a glass of water. Would be nice. I'm just kidding, of course. But how can we summarize this first day of why? Well, we won't really do that, will we? We'll just ask AI to do it for us. And maybe we'll read it later. But I hope you all can agree that it's been a great day so far. And I'm so happy I got to be your MC this year. And lucky for me that none of the other 11 people that were asked before me were available. Yay. And Daniel, it was so great sharing the stage with you. I know you were a little bit nervous about your English pronunciations here and there, but let me reassure you, very, very few were able to hear what you said. You're good. I mean, your articulation and speaking pace is proof that not even AI translators are immune to meltdowns. Good to know. We're not being replaced just yet. And I know some of you probably hoped for Matt Smith this year, who has been the MC for the last few years. His high energy, his dry jokes, and most of all, his notorious nudity and the assless chaps. But you guys, you know, the times are different now. We can't just use men for their bodies and shamelessly sexualize them in any given context, right? I mean, that would make the workplace a really weird place to be, right? Besides, it all gave us a good occasion to practice our English so we can talk to our Danish colleagues. And this year's theme was back to basics. And we got it all, right? Angry, middle-aged men yelling at technology. We had horrible PowerPoint slides, shameless branding. And I even love that so many of you adjusted your outfits for this theme. Now that's what I call dedication. You hold that Stanley Cup high, girl. And the food was from Geitmyra, which are basically kids that make the food. And I mean, what is more back to basic than child labor, right? All thought through. And we learned a lot too. I mean, Mike Montero was here and he inspired us to believe in ourselves. Because why should we let someone tell us that we're not competent or qualified to do something? Can you imagine if someone told the creators of Helseplattformen that? I mean, doctors would only be spending time with their patients. There would be no data leaks or errors. And thousands of arrogant designers and product people would have nothing to write about. And I mean, I will gladly go out and draw oranges, as long as I don't get caught for making an unflattering portrait of President Trump. Just kidding, of course, he's not an actual orange. Oranges are good. And we can throw them away when they get old and rotten. This joke was written by AI. NetLife or the Y Conference take no accountability, neither do we have any affiliation with references to President Trump, the one and mighty. I mean, you saw what happened to Mike, right, when his monitor shut down? So speaking of old and rotten, we had some wise reflections from some NetLife alumni here today as well. Irmelin and Målfrid. It was really good to see you again. And we had Morten here from LinkedIn to encourage us to be more creative. And there is just something about creativity and LinkedIn in the same context. It's kind of like Temu giving a talk about sustainable fashion. Or Meta. Or Meta talking about ethical business models. Or someone who has worked with Microsoft talking about how to evoke emotions and delight users. Oh wait, that's tomorrow actually. Well, technically, I suppose anger, frustration, and despair are emotions too. So good on you, Microsoft. We learned that Jonathan Courtney loves chocolate, can eat a lot of it. And for the first time ever, we had a hypnotic. He was actually not supposed to be here today. We initially booked Shaman Durek. Yeah, he was going to come show us how to cure COVID, but you know, after the documentary, there's been some controversy, so he wasn't available. And then we ran into Geir. Next thing you know, we all woke up, and he was booked. It's weird, but so happy to have him as part of the show. And then we had the lovely Miss Beehives. And for the first time, you guys, the visual designers were not the biggest queens in the room. Imagine that. But let's take some time and recognize the most important guests here tonight. You guys. Yeah. And let's see who's here, because I know we have a lot of designers, right? Yes. And I'm so glad you managed to come today, even though Venus is in retrograde. And we got some visual designers, we got some UX designers, service designers. So it's all just a perfect diversity in mental health issues and weird hobbies. Nice. And relax, I'm not going to give some fluffy talk about the different types of designers and roles and what it means and what we should think about, so we just end up more confused than ever, because that's what we're doing in our NetLife events. So hope to see you next week. But I do want to give the visual designers some praise, because your ability to never let the cold force of reality bring you down. Because where other people might get stuck on topics like profitability, product market fit, sustainability, you are the ones who fight for just the right shade of yellow. The one that signals optimism and not positivity. These are important things. And we all felt the tough times. Recessions, layoffs, businesses are cutting down bare essentials, like rent, salaries, basic customer service, and of course, updating the visual identity. I mean, nothing lifts the spirit in difficult times quite like a redesigned annual report or a brand new secondary font. Not all heroes wear capes, guys. Thanks for all you do. And then there are the UX designers, the people we can trust, who always deliver. That is, except when they haven't slept well, of course, or they're in a bad mood, don't have enough to do, or too much to do, when it's too cold, or too hot, when they're hungry, or too full. But other than that, they're sturdy as rocks. And I know everyone here is very grateful for all that you do, especially that you can work on such low salaries, and it's okay with not getting a job until you're a senior. It's nice. And among the so-called designers, we also have the smaller geriatric crew of content designers. Right? My people, words and communication. And I know you're here because those were the 18 people that complained about the wrong use of semicolon in our last newsletter. But that's our love language, so thank you for caring. And content designer is a title that we actually keep fighting for, just to get out of learning any actual visual design skills. We're kind of like the Karens of the design world. So to make up for the lack of design skills, we just have a whole lot of attitude. And there's nothing we love more than just burn things to the ground without taking any responsibility afterwards. So with a content designer on your team, you'll usually get to take part in their journey from Anakin to Darth Vader, from an arrogant, whiny brat to a dark dictator just zapping through the universe. Just think about that. If you haven't seen Star Wars, go watch it. We also have some developers here today, right? Yes. Most of them are all the way in the back. They just downed some Monster energy drinks, and they're ready to mingle. Or at least, you know, stand with some new people. Or at least look at them on the internet after. And then there are some different kind of developers here as well. There are those who know how to program, and those who never bother to learn, also known as front-end developers. There's the so-called full-stack developers, which are basically the spork of the design world. It's like kind of a fork, kind of a spoon, but ultimately it kind of sucks either way. but it works wonders when you don't have anything else, or if you're just a little bit drunk. And I heard there are some back-end developers here as well. And if we're really, really quiet, you guys, they might come out. At NetLife, we just put out a plate with cheese doodles, and then we'll know they were there during the night sometime. It's nice. Great to see you wherever you are. And let's not forget the project managers. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm always forgetting the rebranding. It's called product managers now, right? You know, the agile people who create cadence, flow, velocity. And for those of you who work in-house, the retirement arrangement for people from customer service. And what would we do without them? Would we actually make stuff? And you know, we can laugh, but there are some clinches between the product managers and the designers. Because product managers complain about designers being arrogant, spacey, and difficult, and more concerned with the design system than actually creating value. While designers complain that product managers are being spineless coordinators who never really create anything. And that's kind of harsh. I have to disagree with that. Or the last part, I mean, the spineless coordinator part, I'm not going to argue. But product managers are very good at creation, because every year they seem to create new names for things we're already doing. I mean, to-do list, it's a Kanban. It's making a flowchart, it's a shape-up method. Agreeing on what to do, foundation sprint. Defining user problems and discuss solutions, opportunity solution tree, double diamond, triple diamond. Making a value proposition, the light method. Meet and talk about what to do. Stand up, weekly, retro, check-in, team, contract. And it's not as easy as people think, right? Because you have to find a new name, you have to copyright it, make it into a framework, a book, a course, a podcast, and perhaps even a small degree, just enough to make sure that they scare away all the pragmatic, neurodivergent, principle-ridden people, also known as designers. And then, finally, the product people are the only ones who can be trusted with this very specific framework. It's very smart. And it's also our business model for selling tickets to why. So remember to get yours before next year so you don't miss out on what buzzword you need to include on your resumes next. Well, look at the time. And also, I'm getting some angry gazes in my back from behind the curtain there. So I'll let you go now so that you can go stand in a corner and avoid strangers, or just finish that cringy LinkedIn post where you're pondering how to make the topics from why really deeply personal and clickbaity. Each to your own, but all in all, I hope you guys enjoyed yourself today. I wanted to thank you for making the first day of Why the best one so far, and see you tomorrow, unless I have been fired or replaced by AI. Have a great night, guys.